Hello everyone, we are sharing insights from Pakistan about important global, regional and bilateral issues. My focus today is going to be on a very significant development that has taken place, that is the developments around Iran's nuclear facilities and Trump administration's desire to strike a quick deal with Iran. As you know, Israel has a definitive interest in ensuring that Iran does not possess any nuclear capability at all. However, Trump administration is very keen to strike a new deal, a deal that takes the debate in the US beyond the Barack Obama deal that Trump administration essentially threw into the dustbin. Now, the idea here is, from the Trump administration's point of view, that Iran should possess minimal nuclear capability, and that too only for civilian purposes. And one very important proposal that is being discussed in the circles in Washington is to create a regional infrastructure for creating the fuel that empowers enrichment, just to put it in layperson's language. And in this regional arrangement, Saudis and UAE walas will also be partners. We are not too sure where the actual enrichment infrastructure will be based according to this proposal, but it's very interesting that something that is supposed to be a core of a nation's security and its policy ambitions, such as acquiring nuclear capability, whether for civilian purposes or for military purposes, now seems to be getting a regional dimension to it. I do not know whether this proposal will work or not, but I am following this development, and I can tell you the Trump administration is very, very keen to convince the Iranians to hurry up. Hurry up, why? Because Israelis wanted to strike on the Iranian nuclear infrastructure this month, the month of May. A very eventful month from Pakistani point of view at any rate, but for the region, this would have been even more eventful, disastrously eventful, if Israel had carried out the strikes. Now, Israel does not want the US to give Iran any opportunity to build any kind of nuclear capability, so it wants to denude Iran of any nuclear capability, and they are suggesting that if America delays the outcome of the negotiations with Iran, then we are going to go ahead with the plan. The Saudis are seized of the matter, and that is why the king sent a special message to the Iranians saying that hurry up, time is kind of running out, this negotiations clock is ticking very fast, and grab whatever deal Trump is offering you. Israel obviously would be very unhappy in all of this. Iranians will not be happy at all, because they have built this capability with great care and effort, and now the whole region and global powers seem to be telling them that you can't really be in sole possession of this capability, and certainly cannot bring it even close to military capability. So the negotiations between Iran and the US are not just bilateral negotiations. Regional security also hinges on it, and we sitting in Pakistan are watching these developments very closely.
Well, the word nuclear evokes a lot of response, I guess. Iran's nuclear program is debated at the moment, and the fear is that they may come up with a nuclear bomb. But look at Kashmir, the real flashpoint in South Asia, where the threat of a nuclear war is really potent. Kashmir is being talked about, and Modi has been trying to avoid that, literally. To me, all the conflict, all the clash, all the war between Pakistan and India had been about Kashmir. And now the news from Pakistan, it's a statement by Field Marshal General Asim Munir. And if you look at it, it's a perfect match to what Modi had been campaigning for days all along. He had been telling his people that Pakistan is a threat and that we won't let go of Kashmir. The Kashmir is an integral part, and Pakistan breeds terrorism. So all that propaganda is matched by just one statement, and that statement is that we will not let go of Kashmir. That is what the Chief of Army Staff is saying. So it raises the specter of war again, and Indian analysts, they are saying that this time round, while the ceasefire is a fragile one, Pakistan may be the one who breaks the ceasefire. And India is to be blamed on all this because they have brought the threshold of conventional war down. And Pakistan, on the other hand, I guess it demolished that deterrence part, on a conventional war deterrence part, if you look at it from India's point of view. So Pakistan now is saying, one, Kashmir, we will not let go of it. Second, our lifeline is water. And if you try to control it, we will retaliate. So pretty important news coming out of Pakistan.
Both regions side by side, geographic contiguity at work, but different types of challenges are taking shape. Back to the Iranian, US, Saudi, Israeli brew as far as the nuclear capability of Iran is concerned. The Saudi interest in all of this is pretty clear. They do not want a region which is dominated by an imbalance of nuclear capability. And number two, they also want to get into the line for acquiring civilian nuclear technology, for which they are already in deep negotiations with Washington. So their interest is pretty clearly laid out. They also do not want Iran to have a nuclear bomb, but at the same time they would be wary of the Israeli model of striking at nuclear infrastructure of any Muslim country. Remember, the recent history tells us that once a country becomes an experiment ground for big powers or regional powers, that module gets repeated elsewhere as well. So when Iraq fell apart, we knew something was afoot. It happened to Libya, it happened to Syria, and it started to expand. When Ukrainian war erupted, many feared that other regional hegemons or strongmen will try to attempt the same model elsewhere. Netanyahu certainly has created a model of invading countries, annihilating people, and also obliterating civilian populations. So these are very dangerous modules to follow. We saw that happen in case of India, taking a leaf out of Israeli book, encouraged by Putin's desire to expand the sphere of Russian influence, trying to do the same thing in South Asia, expanding its ambitions towards Pakistan, for which it got a befitting response, claiming Kashmir to be their own, also threatening Bangladesh with war in case they do not comply with their regional diktat. So these modules, once they get created, can be replicated elsewhere as well. So Saudis do not want that to happen. The Trump administration is very clear. It wants to lock a deal quickly and cross all the and tick all the boxes and present to the American people a trophy. Trump is a trophy guy, so he has to have a trophy on his table that, Barack Obama couldn't do it. What I did, well, he did have an agreement, but he threw it in the dustbin. Biden couldn't do it, and here I'm this guy who is the ultimate deal maker who has been able to pull it off. So he wants a trophy. Israel core interest is to make sure that Iranians really bite dust as far as nuclear power is concerned, zero nuclear capability. Iranians would want to save and preserve whatever little space that is available to them. So very tense negotiations, conflicting, colliding interests. But in all of this, Trump is the guy who is going to ask for a deal, will want to get a deal, and tell the Iranians that if you don't do this, something really terrible will happen. And we, as I said earlier, are very keenly watching these developments.
India was up to doing something really terrible, launching a war against Pakistan, but that hasn't happened. There are interesting reports coming from Stimson Centre and CFR. They're analyzing the war between Pakistan and India. The Stimson report says that it wasn't a fully fledged war. It was a clash, because for a conflict or a clash to qualify as a war, you need to have more people dying. It's unfortunate how they look at it, but the interest is great on what has happened between Pakistan and India, because it is now being dubbed as the most modern war and the most modern warfare was employed in this war. And the second report from CFR that looks at India's role in South Asia, which has been downgraded because of its contacts with its immediate neighbors. The Bangladesh factor that has come up in a great way, where the Chinese and Bangladeshis are collaborating with each other, and then there are reports suggesting that there may be an airfield where Bangladesh and China would be collaborating, and it would be close to Siliguri, a sore point for India, and they're raising their security. So their relationship with Sri Lanka, that is not also ideal. The Chinese influence is growing there. So this report states that India is not as great as it poses. So all the chest thumping by Modi is hollow drum beating at the moment.
Interesting developments. The Chinese curse actually that suggests that may you live in interesting times, and frankly we can certainly do away with interesting times, but the interesting times seem to not take a leave from South Asia or the Middle East. Stay tuned. Thank you.